Okay, made a little change here again. Still trying to get rid of this error that keeps popping up, and I think what it was is I have to recalibrate the DCT. There's actually a procedure you can go through, and it self-calibrates the shifting points. And if this error shows up, one of the things it means is that the transmission needs to be recalibrated. And we're going to see if that's the case. We'll see if the shifting pattern's slightly different after the calibration here. Can't really tell any difference. It did make a little change. I think it's shifting just a tad later, but I can't say for sure. The audio is going to be kind of screwy because it's really, really windy. And last time I took it out, I was getting the error right about here. It was so darn windy. Holy smokes, it's blowing 40 miles an hour out here, I bet. So we'll do a U-type turn here. First of all, this is probably one of the nicest motorcycles I've ever ridden. I put about 40 miles on it so far, throughout my testing here and reconfigurations and everything. And the more I drive it, the more I like it. And I liked it the very first time I drove it. The automatic transmission is golden. If I got one of these, it would have to be the automatic. There's no way I would buy a manual transmission bike again if I had the choice. This is awesome. So you can see the shift indicator go down, but you don't feel a thing. And that part's awesome. Wind protection's pretty good. I'm not a big anti-wind buffeting guy, so I keep the windshield all the way down. Personal preference, I would prefer the windshield 1 inch shorter than it is. I'm looking right at the top edge of the windshield, and I'm 6'1", so if I was shorter, I'd be looking through the windshield even though it's set to the lowest position. So I would actually probably cut 1 inch off the windshield if this was my bike. And I would never raise the windshield, I don't think. I just really don't like looking through the windshield, especially if it's raining or there's a lot of bugs in the area. That would not be my preference. The only glaring fault on this bike is the parking brake. You have to put the parking brake on manually when you stop it, because it basically stops in neutral. Oh, nice downshift there. I like this. So you have to be conscious to put it in park every time, which is something a person will just use as a routine. But if you forget to disengage it, it still lets you put it in gear and drive away with the parking brake on. And I've done that at least 3 times so far. And you right away wonder, why is it so sluggish? And it's because the parking brake's on. So then you reach down and disengage that. The Spider, in comparison, I believe it automatically activates the brake when you shut off the machine, and you have to disengage the brake before it'll let you put it in gear. That is a change you need to make on this, definitely. And I'm hoping that that's something they'll come up with down the road here. Other than that, you know, the windshield's a real minor thing. That's just a personal preference. I would definitely not dissuade anybody from buying this kind of bike because of that. I mean, that's nothing. The brake thing is kind of a big deal. You know, I can see where if a person took off and didn't really pay attention, you could run into a serious overheat. You know, it could even lead to a fire or something in an extreme case. So that's something I think would be wise to fix. And wow, I'm out on a really rough gravel little alleyway here. I'm going to show. You know, this is nice with the automatic. You know, you can just kind of baby this through this alleyway. It's really wet and muddy and rough, and you know, it's just nice. This thing is so good. I only have one little error thing. Well, the Tpms, I knew about that, and that's going to be something else to live with because of the sensor not being in the front wheels. It does, after I go here a little bit, it does show me the pressure in the rear tire, which is really important. The front wheels doesn't matter because you can tell right away if the front is wrong, or if there's something wrong with the front. You'll catch that right away because it's you're going to feel it. The rear, though, you can actually have issues with the rear and not notice. So it's good that the pressure sensor works on the rear wheel and shows on the dash. From a handling standpoint, it's perfect. I nailed it pretty good, I have to say, as far as the way this thing drives and steers. It's got just enough feedback. You know, it's slightly firm, which is good. I'm debating if I should put it in the trailer or not. Well, I'll park it in the shed here. Yeah, it's real good. It runs like a top. Shifting is perfect. I don't have the air anymore. And what a bizarre thing. Here I did all this work and it just turned out to be a something that would be done by the shop as part of their initial setup. I guess that was maybe missed, or maybe that's something that, you know, because it's a new bike, they probably haven't really figured out that they have to maybe do some of these things. So, you know, no casting of blame. I'm just really glad that it's working. So I'm going to probably take some pictures of it and park it. I'm going to go fix my truck. I got to replace the front end of my truck because I hit a deer, so I'm going to work on that today, now that I have this problem solved. Probably the prettiest bike I've ever done. I don't think you'd get anything better than this unless it was a 2019, which has a little more black on it and actually has a little bit better look than this, but up to now, this is the prettiest machine I have worked on. You can see there's a little perimeter lighting on the hood there, and you can see that I've got the little wing spots in the front, and I went with white center white perimeter lighting on those to match the headlights, so everything blends real nice. The real focus here was to get this whole thing to look factory, and I think it does look that way, and I'm really really happy with my painter, Harry. He's just an excellent craftsman. There's no way around it. He color matched this and got it right on the nose, and he does it by eye. He didn't use any scanner or anything. He eye matched this, so that's pretty good. And I'll figure out what that little light thing is there. It looks like something with the key fob. This is the easiest bike to drive. I mean, it's so predictable, and you can just baby it back and forth. And the fans just came on, and you can tell the cooling system on this is different than the old ones. The fans blow the correct way. They're blowing out the sides right here. And you don't get any real heat from the fans because it blows out the sides like it should instead of blowing out the front. So the radiators were flipped around, so the fans are on the outside and the fans kicked off. So it cools down really quickly. You know, everything about it is, or put it in neutral. Everything about it is really well thought out. There's some complaints about the horn button. It's right here. I like it there. For me, it's very convenient. I have trouble on my older Goldwing hitting the horn button. When I'm, you know, maybe hitting the signal, I slip and I hit the horn button and you honk, and then there's, you know, a lady crossing the street and she's wondering why you're honking at her, and then you gotta tell her, sorry, I'm an idiot, you know. And this is nice. I like that. The windshield thing is right here. When you turn off the bike, it automatically lowers the windshield, but when you get moving, the windshield goes back to where it was when you shut it off. So that's nice. The you know, I mentioned one time before, I think, about this indicator for how you set the rear suspension height. Changing the height on the rear does not change the ride. It doesn't make it harsher. It doesn't make it softer. It doesn't do anything. All it does is it raises the bike. So typically, I like to get the bikes up off the ground as much as possible so that there's plenty of ground clearance. So, you know, if there's a raccoon or something, or an aardvark running across the road, you can clear it. And it's kind of neat. They don't have like 0 to 25. They have little icons here, the 2 little spacemen and a picnic basket, which is the maximum height. So that's where I set it, with the 2 spacemen and the picnic basket. Other than that, the dash is pretty intuitive. You know, it took me a little while to figure out where the hell the gas gauge is, which is over here on the left, and the temperature is on the right. Then you have to go through the whole thing. I have to check. You know, if it was mine, I'd want to get rid of the radio thing. I'd never listen to the radio, and I would never turn it on. I've got a Bluetooth headset. If I want to listen to music, I'll do that. But I really prefer 0 when I'm riding. I just like the wind and the wheels. I don't like, you know, here again, that's personal preference. It has nothing to do with the design or any criticism. But I would like to just turn the screen off and just have a blank screen. I haven't looked at any of the other features like the navigation or any of that. You know, that's not really my place. I'm not really doing a per se critique on this motorcycle. You know, I'm looking at the whole package and my conversion and how it all ties together, and you know, the general theme of the whole thing. God, this thing just runs so nice. And it's quiet, and there's no mechanical clatter. It's just excellent. And I only have good things to say about it. You know, the only real criticism is the brake, and the rest of the stuff is just personal preference and, you know, little minor things that I wouldn't even consider as issues. So that is one successful Saturday. This is what I wanted to achieve today, and I got her done, so that's a good day. So thanks for watching.